Wow. Let's recap what we just saw. Like the Titanic, they abandoned a core value, avoiding danger. They recklessly went into known treacherous waters. Unlike the Titanic, they did not abandon core value number 2. They had sufficient lifeboats. They just didn't have anybody to work them. You know, when you got a magician and a guitarist trying to figure out how to run all the lifeboats and the lift of the sea, did you hear it? The lifeboats we didn't get to move it. We were moving as fast as what we knew. But they had sufficient lifeboats. Now the captain, I told him to abandon ship. If they want to stay, that's their choice. Who wouldn't want to stay with such a merriment going on outside? Maybe I want to stay on the boat because I want to get in the water, but the boat's going down. I don't think of anybody in their right mind that would want to stay. Something I loved when the magician said, some of the old people couldn't make it. Well, you know what he was saying? I'll give my life for others. Now, when you're evaluating a core value, if the leadership is not willing to lay its life down for the sheep because they're driven by just size, not by relation, so they're going to give you whatever it takes to make you feel good. On that cruise ship, I imagine people were feeling good. Good music, good magician, good food. But did they know that the captain would abandon the ship? Did they know that? Well, Christ never abandoned any of us. And thank you for saying that today, Toby. A core value, I guess, put inside of me. I'm like a Texan. You don't abandon the one who brung you. You know who brung me? Him. And I can tell you, some of you sometimes have been ornery sheep. Yeah. And maybe I want to abandon, but I look at the bigger picture. Maybe they'll come back. Maybe they'll come home. Maybe we can build something together. And I'd like to see that in my lifetime. Okay, so I want to just move on. I could have brought a lot of stories, but I want to show you a few. Failing to keep its watertight bow door shut resulted in the end of the cruise ship, Sea Diamond. Let's charge off, boys. We got to get on to the next port. And it sunk. That was April 5th, 2007. Proper maintenance, proper checklist. Are the bow doors shut down there? Hello? I even know these things. The Canadian cruise ship MV Explorer met the same fate as the RMS Titanic after it hit an iceberg and sank on November 23rd, 2007. These are just in the last 5 years. I don't want to go back anymore. And there's a lot of cool footage on every one of these. Really cool. People flying everywhere, landing into stuff. If you call that cool, there's cool footage on all this, and it is not cool. The Carnival Splendor mega cruise ship, built in 2008, holding 4,500 passengers, shown here on fire in the Mexican Riviera on November 9th, 2010. Not proper maintenance checks. The cruise ship MS Nautilus, claiming loss of lives, is shown here on fire along the popular Norwegian coast on September 15th, 2011. And of course, the most recent catastrophe when a Costa Cruise Line captain recklessly crashed the mega ship Costa Cordia while he was showboating for people on the shore in uncharted waters. He didn't have a chart map. Dr. Guyland's a sailor. He can tell you, you need a chart of the shores. And that's in a small boat, right, Steve?
Amen.
Hey, guys, we may be a small ship, small church right now, but we're going to get our core values down, and we're not going to just charge out to showboat. What's showboating? If I have to hire somebody to sing to make more people happy, and that person is committing adultery, I'm not going to do it. Now, you can fire me. You're right, but these are core values. Who leads us in worship? I'm not saying they didn't do something wrong last week, something stupid. I did that. I'm talking about recklessly abandonment. I know what God says. I don't care anyway, and I'm going to continue in it. Chartered. Okay, all core values, every one of them, in my opinion, must be reinforced. It is not okay to abandon one or two for the sake of three. Whether you're a mega ship, mega church, small ship, small church, or in your lives or in your family, when you start getting off of God's core values, this is what happens. And there's lots of stories like that. Back to the core values. Last week we examined something, how Martin Luther King rightfully admonished church leaders while he was in Birmingham cell. And I just want to bring this back quickly because in the short time that's remained, I do want to look at our answers. Did everybody work on their answers? Does everybody got their sheet of paper? Have you been thinking about it? Even, maybe I didn't work on it like you asked me, like you emailed me, but I have been thinking about it, Pastor Dwight. I even remember, look at the paper quickly if you haven't been thinking. But here's what he said. He said, so many churches start out with the right foundation. They want to be a living organism for Christ, and they begin in great joy. This is from Martin Luther King. I can tell you, when we started our church, we started out wanting to be on fire for the Christ with great joy. We just weren't prepared for everything that was going to come our way. No rule book on this, but we're ready now. We're ready now. We've learned a lot. But here's something. But along the way, they abandon their organism foundational principles. They abandon this bedrock foundational pillar and become an organization. You know what an organization is? It's when somebody comes up to you and you're in a company and they say, I got to do what's most important for me. That's an organization looks out for itself. When I said we want to be a family, we cannot just look out for ourselves. We must look out for others. It's not about how we're going to get benefited, but how others will get benefit. And don't justify an improper action. Don't say that the means justify the ends, because it will fall. If today's church does not recapture the sacrificial spirit of the early church, what sacrificial spirit is he talking about? I'm going to tell you something. When you have to love others, it's easy to love yourself. Okay? I'm okay. I get up in the mirror and I say, boy, Dwight, you're looking good today. I may look ugly, but I feel, it's me. It's okay to love yourself. Or if you don't love yourself, you need help. You really do, because the enemies beat you up really bad. But that's not enough. You must love others. That's why God doesn't like it when Satan gets in and damages you and hurts you and makes you feel you're unworthy, because you can't love yourself when you're feeling unworthy. And he says to love others as you love yourself. Now in another place he says, love others as I have loved you. That's even bigger. Amen. It's bigger than just loving them because I'm not going to go out and stab myself. But he did for us. So it's a bigger calling. And that's what he says. He's talking about a sacrificial spirit. And if it does that, it will lose its authenticity, forfeit the loyalty of millions, and be dismissed as an irrelevant social club with no meaning for the 20th century.